All right. Welcome to the education call, the Enriching Gifts education call. It's Wednesday, April the 7th, and we are excited once again to introduce you and have Ron Schneider here with us. And I'm excited to hear what the topic is today. Ron, I'm just going to hand it over to you. Thank you so much for everything you do.
And thank you, Roderick, for filling in for Dover. I missed that guy already.
Yes,
anyway,
yes.
Great job. So I appreciate you as well. I'd like to welcome everybody into the call tonight. I mean, look at this beautiful, beautiful view. I've been waiting for this all winter long. And it's about 67 degrees. We're up here at our training center. I'm right outside the master bedroom on a balcony that's about 35, 40 feet off of the ground. You can see that we're looking way down across the river and stuff. So this is what excites me every year. I never get to spend near enough time out here. Maybe one day every 1 week, 2 weeks, breakfast out here. The rest of the time I'm so busy I don't get to take the time. But anyway, I just want to welcome everybody to the call tonight. I do have a topic. I had a very interesting conversation today. In fact, it was probably about 2-3 hours ago. They had called Talia and Stephen. They weren't quite sure how to answer this, so I'm glad Stephen's on the call tonight. He's going to learn a lot about our product. And there's two things I want to talk about tonight: digestive enzymes and probiotics. Because there's a lot of myths out there and a lot of misconception on the internet. Even the medical community still believes that, oh, you don't want to ever take probiotics unencapsulated. Well, let me tell you, if the acid destroys all the probiotics, then all those products that they sell to horses, pigs, and animals, and even in the health food stores, you're paying huge bucks because they're in the refrigerator. Those aren't encapsulated. So how do those survive the acid stomach? If we're to believe that you cannot consume a probiotic that's anything but encapsulated or tableted with an enteric coating around it, so it survives the acid stomach, then all those other products are a complete waste of time and a bunch of just greedy people. It's simply not true. I want to make one thing very clear about probiotics. There is no deteriorating or getting digested by the acid that's in the stomach. That is such a crock of crap. Pardon my language, but it really riled me up today. And I've been having this conversation with both scientists and the medical community for way too many decades to have it bring up and not me get really passionate and infuriated that I got to still have this same BS conversation because it exists all over the internet. And this is all about marketing. If acid, your hydrochloric acid in your stomach, truly digested and destroyed probiotic or any other kind of bacteria, oh, well, wait a second. How does H. pylori get into the GI tract? That had to go through the acid stomach. That's the bacteria that causes ulcers. Oh, but by the way, how did E. coli ever get into my bloodstream and cause blood poisoning and people die from that? I had that experience right over in New Delhi, India, with Swami Ji as cardiologist, and Shinaz Hussain, Princess Shinaz, has the largest Ayurvedic cosmetic company in the world. They're out of India. And I was sitting there at the dinner at the La Meridian Hotel, which I remember very well because it cost me $754 per night US, and I had 5 people with me. So think about that. Yeah, I'm dishing out like $3,500 a night, and we were there for 5 days. And the very first time we all got together, the first night we were there, we all had at the buffet. And like I said, this is one of the highest end hotels anywhere in the world. And we all got food poisoning. So if hydrochloric acid destroyed E. coli bacteria, how is it that you get it into past your GI tract, you have the runs, and if you have it bad enough, you'll actually die from it from blood poisoning. It actually gets in the bloodstream, which absolutely the only way you're going to get it into the bloodstream is go beyond the GI tract and into the gut wall and the intestinal system. So this whole notion that you can't take probiotics in a liquid because they're all destroyed by the acid in the stomach is just plain nonsense, and it's total BS. And hopefully this is the last time I have to have this stupid, ridiculous conversation that I've been having for over 3 decades. It's simply not true. So you can take our probiotics that under the Enriching Gifts label with or without the capsule. People sometimes they don't like the gelatin capsules that they're in. They don't like the fact that they have the capsule take a capsule anyway. They'd much rather just open it up, mix it in with a smoothie or something. That's perfectly fine and okay. Going to be just as effective outside that capsule as long as you consume it all at once and consume it within about 10-15 minutes after you take it out of the capsule. That's the trick with the enzymes. Do not put it in orange juice or oatmeal or anything else, because it literally takes minutes and it's all digested. And when you break down sugars with the digestive enzymes, they actually sour. They go from a disaccharide into a monosaccharide, and they'll actually change the texture and the taste completely. And I found that out during the initial formulations and stuff in 1990. We were at Arizona Desert Manufacturing, had a whole bunch of people coming in that we were going to put in algae as a nutritional benefit for the enzymes. And by the time we got to drinking it, it was all soured because we had some grape juice or some other kind of a powdered sweetener in there. But anyways, it just didn't work. So always remember, when you take the product, you want to make sure to consume them within about 3 to 5 minutes after they're out of that capsule, because they will deteriorate just by sitting around in exposure to oxygen and water and humidity and other factors. So, but the big thing I was all riled up tonight was about probiotics and this whole notion that somehow hydrochloric acid is going to digest meat or some part of your diet, or even the probiotic bacteria. No, it doesn't. Otherwise, all that other stuff would never get into the body and into the bloodstream to affect us all in a very negative way. And I don't think there's anybody on this phone call that can't relate to a really good runny diarrhea crap because of food poisoning. I know I've had it many times in my life. That bacteria has to get way beyond the acid stomach before it can actually get into the body and cause all these other problems. So they absolutely survive the acid stomach. And don't let anybody ever tell you any different, because that is one ignorant son of a gun you're talking to. And so that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. But there are some really weak strains of bacteria that do deteriorate very quickly in an acid pH. We don't use any of those probiotics in our Enriching Gifts formula. All of ours come from the world's largest probiotic producer called Nebraska Cultures. Look them up sometime. And I very rarely ever give away my sources that I do business with in. But there is a patented process we have. Nobody could even come close to producing a probiotic formula that we actually have. Nobody. It's patented. And we have trade secrets behind the manufacturing that allows for that patent to become reality in a realized finished product. And the probiotics we have, they're not only not destroyed by acid in the stomach, they actually grow and multiply inside the human body. So therefore, after you've taken a double dose for a few months, stop. Just take one capsule with each meal, maybe one day, and skip a day. Heck, you can even skip 2 days after you've been on this stuff a year. So it becomes extremely economical. And now all you're doing is maintaining the growth factor and the actual balance factor of the probiotics when you use the Enriching Gifts probiotic formula. No other product in the world can do that. Not one, not even come close. So the last thing I want to hear somebody talking to me about is how my product is destroyed by the acid stomach. Simply not true. So that was the conversation that I had for tonight. And like I said, the enzymes, you can put them in with your drinks and stuff like that, your smoothies and all that, but you want to make sure to drink your smoothie. Literally, if it has any kind of orange juice, pineapple juice, any kind of a sugar in it, you want to make sure that that is consumed within about 5 minutes, no more than 10 minutes after you make it. Otherwise, it'll sour, turn really, really rancid. But that's just from the enzymes breaking down the sugars. So from disaccharides to monosaccharides, and it definitely changes the taste. So that's what I had for conversation for tonight's call. I really didn't have a whole lot outside of that because, like I said, Samantha and I, we just got up the training center for the second time in 2 days. We were up here yesterday and then had to go back get product today. We're back up here again. So, and hopefully we have a few new people listening on. I know there's Stephen, my son-in-law, who, by the way, I'm really proud of them and the work they're doing with the website for Enriching Gifts. They're doing a wonderful, great job. I'm sure most of you guys, if not all of you on the phone, will agree with me or on the call. So anyways, Roderick, why don't we go ahead and open it up for some questions, commentary, and kind of get right into what people are thinking about tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I again, it's great to listen to you, because every single time I hear something new. And today is no different. You know, being able to take the enzymes outside the capsule, never heard that before, just as effective as long as you take it all at once. And my hat's off to Stephen as well. I've been working with him for the last many months, and he is a big man behind the scenes, as some of you know, and he is doing some incredible work on the website. And man, just welcome to the call. So if anyone has any questions, please come off mute or type it in the chat and ask your questions. Don't be shy.
Yeah, even any comments. Anybody's got any comments for tonight? That would be awesome.
Testimonials works, comments. Who's going to kick us off? Anyone?
Got to be some kind of questions about the probiotic conversation. Are you sure you don't have everybody muted, Roderick?
Well, I might just unmute everyone and we'll see how much chaos we can create. If you're on a phone, you can hit *6 and that will bring you off mute. And most of you know, if you're on a Zoom, you can tap your phone and hit the mute button, unmute yourself, come on out, ask a question.
Well, I see Michael Wu had a question that he kind of flashed across the screen. Why don't we just bring him in live so I can talk to him directly? Is that possible, Michael?
I am going to ask Michael to come unmute. I can't force the new Zoom controls. You can't force somebody to unmute. So I will read a chat that says, I started working out, and any advice for bodybuilders? Oh, there you go.
Yep, got lots of advice for bodybuilders. For a lot of people that don't know me, I used to kind of attempt at bodybuilding way back in the real early 90s. And look, had a really good body for several years until I got into my enriching gift business. And then I wasn't able to play volleyball or play tennis for 8-9 hours at 115-degree heat in Scottsdale, Arizona every day. And yeah, my athletic career just kind of went down the tubes once I started traveling around the world to try to build up my enriching gift business, as well as promote the enzymes and expose them for what I was able to create with a couple of other scientists and stuff. So bodybuilders, athletes, any kind of an athlete, first and foremost is your diet. Your diet is about 80% of what you're able to do with your physical health. It's not about going in the gym and working your butt off 2-3 hours every day, 6 days a week, 7 days a week. That's just plain craziness. And that's what I used to do. Growing up in a small town in Montana, I didn't have any big, huge bodybuilders that I could look up to, talk to, or anything like that. That all changed when I moved to Phoenix, Arizona. I lived at an apartment complex called Saddleback Apartments, and it's right on Tatum and Bell there. And inside of that apartment was a wealth of professional athletes that I had no idea even existed. If you go back to 1984 and you pick up Muscle Fitness, Muscle Magazine, any kind of a muscle magazine or fitness magazine that was out there, you're going to see Mike Ashley. He's an African-American, Mr. Universe natural. And he lived in Saddleback Apartments for 1.5 years when I first moved down there. And I actually started working out with him down in the clubhouse. And I learned so much that I'd been all these years doing really, really wrong. One, nobody should ever spend more than 3 hours, more than twice a week in any gym. You should be able to go in 1.5 hours and get your body part workout done easily. If you're in there more than that, you're a social workout. You're not a bodybuilder. You're in there for social, talking to gals and talking to guys and promoting supplements and talking BS and nonsense. I mean, a serious bodybuilder, they're going to go in, they're going to eat at a specific time, certain calories. I remember I used to weigh out all my stuff, and that stuff gets really old really fast because you can't go out and play volleyball. You can't go out and run around on a tennis court. You have to rest. Rest to recuperate. Rest to regenerate. Rest to actually recover. So, and that's the hardest part for me to learn how to do. But once I started just knocking off, I was only in the gym maybe when I first started, maybe a couple hours every other day. And the more I rested, it got to the point where I didn't even have to work out but 3 days a week. And that was only an hour every single morning. And then once I started taking, now remember, that was 1984. I didn't get into enzymes till 1990. But once I seen that I had the ability to build a much larger body than what I'd lived with most of my 27 years in younger life, just because I was doing everything wrong. I was way overtraining, way overworking, taking way too much protein powder, didn't have the ability to digest what I was consuming at all. And I first found that out in 1989 when I went down to Valley of the Sun and actually had my blood work done. I could see I wasn't digesting anything. I wasn't recovering. All my red blood cells were all stuck together because I was consuming way too much protein that my body couldn't digest. So, Michael, I'll get right to the point of what you really want to know. Tips for anybody that's bodybuilding. First of all, always remember 80% plus is all about your dietary choices. It's the food you consume. Your body can't build with something that it doesn't have. And nutrients are the most essential part of the human body and cell functioning that there is. And it doesn't have to be expensive, organic nutrition. The whole point of taking the digestive enzymes is so you can get maximum nutrition out of whatever food source it is. And I'll give you an example to that. You know, we did a digestive enzyme study way back in October of 1994 at University of Rhode Island Medical Center. And Dr. Atifa Wad was our attending physician, and we had 81 people participate in a 10-day study. And the way the protocol was all laid out, we only used my enzyme product, and each person, all of those 81 people, they were given 2 servings a day. That was it, of 6-ounce sirloin steak. 2 servings, 6 ounces, 6 ounces, 12 ounces, wasn't even a pound. So you're looking at about 2/3 of a pound, maybe something like that. But anyways, that's what the protocol was for 10 days. And what we did is we analyzed each and every single person's blood 1 hour, 2 hours, and 4 hours after they consumed that meal. And within 6 hours, you were ready for your second helping of sirloin steak. And so of those blood readings we got, so we got each person, 81 people, 6 blood screenings a day. And so what we did was for the first 3 days, we wanted to see how efficient people's digestion actually was. Now, keep in mind, there was 81 people and the age range from 83 all the way down to 16. So this is old people, young people, boys, girls, Asians, Latinos, Mexicans, whatever there was. It was a tremendously varied study for the amount of people and the types of people that we were able to get to conduct that study with. So this is kind of the gamut of everybody on the planet. So it wasn't just young people and it wasn't just old people. We had a very good broad-based representation of just about what average human lives on the planet. And so for the first 3 days, we just took and gave them a sirloin steak. And then we started measuring how efficient is their overall digestive process at breaking down proteins. And let me state this, protein in any form, muscle tissue protein specifically, is the hardest thing that the human body will ever do in a 24-hour period of living a day of life. It causes so much inflammation, it consumes all the calories in the actual food source just to digest it. So there's very little left over for the human body to benefit as far as excess calories for all kinds of energy and repairing and healing and growing and all that kind of stuff. So anytime you can increase the efficiency of the digestive process of protein, I can't think of one single thing that would be more beneficial to the human body. Not one. So just keep that in mind as I start to go through this conversation. But it's important to note that. Because if you're really talking seriously about bodybuilding and growing and things like that, you've got to be able to find calories from someplace to where your body can use not just amino acids to build muscle tissue and basically maintain all the tissue of the human body. Human body is nothing but tissue and water when you really think about it. All tissues, organs, blood vessels, everything in the human body is just tissue. And all tissues are made from amino acids, which are the broken down byproducts of protein. Any form of protein. But the hardest thing for the body to digest is meat, flesh, muscle tissue. So I'm not opposed to people trying to go vegan. The only problem with vegan and bodybuilding is you're usually consuming about, I mean, it's pounds and pounds of food a day to keep up with the muscle tissue. But again, your body can only realize what it has the ability to digest. So vegetarian, eat enough of it, it can be just as big as a bodybuilder or somebody that believes that the only way to build muscle tissue is eat a lot of meat flesh, chicken, beef, turkey, pork, things like that. That's simply not true. I can point to at least 11, 12 true vegetarian bodybuilders that were right up there in the national ranks, right up there with Mr. Olympia competitions and as good as it gets. So that's the first thing, kind of dispel this myth that, the only way to get really big is eat a lot of protein. No, you never want to eat any more protein than what your body has the ability to digest. That's going to get me back to our amino acid study. So we literally gave all those people for the first 3 days just normal sirloin steak, what most people would eat for their protein, especially bodybuilders. And then we went and analyzed their blood. So that gave us a baseline. Here's what normal digestion looks like for all these people that participated. Then days 4, 5, 6, and 7, we started giving each person 3 enzymes at each meal. So they're only taking 6 enzymes per day because they're only consuming 2 meals per day. And like I said, the capsules that we have, they'll digest up to about 2 ounces of vegetarian protein and about 1.5 ounces of meat flesh. So that's where we came up with the 3 capsules for the serving, because most people aren't going to eat more than 6 to 8 ounces of beef or pork or chicken or turkey in a single serving. That's a pretty good sized portion for most people. So days 4, 5, 6, 7, we actually gave them enzymes, still analyzed the blood 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours later. And then to see whether there was any negative effects, if there was any altering effects, any damaging effects, we took people off days 8, 9, and 10. Went back to just giving them the sirloin steak and seeing what their regular digestion was going to do. And at the end of that study, at the end of that 10 days, after about 3 weeks, we finally got all the information, everything compiled, and we were able to provide a summary. And at the end, what we finally realized was, wow, boy, are people really, really deficient in their ability to digest any kind of protein. Because we actually increased the time it took. Actually, we shortened the time it took, but we increased the digestive efficiency 243% faster and better digestion than your body could do it on its own. So any person, whether you're a bodybuilder, whether you're an athlete, or just a guy that goes to work and works his butt off all day to support himself and a family, everybody benefits from these enzymes. Everybody. There's not one person on the planet Earth who wouldn't have tremendous health benefits from taking my digestive enzymes. Because not only were we able to increase 243% faster from the time as food is consumed to the time it's actually realized in the cellular functioning process, 243% faster with our enzymes than your body could do it on its own. But that wasn't the kicker. Here's the real thing that surprised all of us involved in this. You could literally take and your branched chain amino acids increased by 725%. 725%. I'm sorry, 723%. 723%, that's what you increase for free-form or branched chain amino acids. Free-form amino acids, which are more complex amino acids of the two, there's essential and non-essential. But basically, free-form amino acids were able to increase by 525%. So 723% increase from branched chain amino acids, 525% increase realized at the cellular level, actually working inside the cell, rebuilding tissue, building muscle, all those kind of things. 723% increase in nutrition from branched chain, 525% increase from free-form amino acids, all 243% faster than your body could do it on its own. So Michael, when you start talking about bodybuilding and recovery is 3 R's: rest, rest, to recover. That's the most important. That's the Bible to any bodybuilder. Rest, rest, to recover. And what speeds up recovery is 3 things that have nothing to do with rest. How fast can the body get nutrition to start the cellular process of repairing and rebuilding from what you broke down during your workout. That's the key to bodybuilding. That's the key to any athlete becoming a much better world-class athlete than most people that he's going to run and compete against. That's the key. How fast can you get nutrition from the food source to the cellular body to start the recovery and repair process? Number two part of that is inflammation. Most people that go through a real physical hard workout or an athletic activity or spend a couple hours in the gym like a bodybuilder, they're going to take 2 to 3 days to fully recover because of inflammation. Inflammation just doesn't seem to just disappear and go away. When you fall down and twist an ankle or a knee, it doesn't feel good the next day. It doesn't feel good the second day. It starts feeling good about the third or fourth day. And it's just same thing with the way the body recovers. It's not going to do it in a day or two. You have to rest to recover. But you have to rest and figure out a way to get rid of that inflammation, because inflammation, when it's like a steroid, for example, when you take a steroid, it blocks the inflammatory process from even occurring in the human body. That's why a guy can go in the gym, work out for 4 hours and just tear the hell out of his body, be right back in there the very next day, go through another 3-4 hours, tear it all down, because steroids actually influence the hormonal change and the dramatic increase of testosterone. Whenever your testosterone's elevated, your body's building muscle tissue like crazy. But the problem with all of that is you're actually blocking the inflammatory process. So you're going to get side effects from that are going to affect the entire body, your brain, your teeth will fall out. I've seen legs, literally muscle just blow up sitting in a chair. Just literally explode, just boom, here comes your bone from your femur right out through your skin. Those are the risks you're going to mess around when you start doing steroids and that kind of crap, because you're artificially manipulating the body in a very, very dangerous negative way. But with the enzymes, you're speeding up the nutritional process. And what are we doing for inflammation? Protease enzymes are natural anti-inflammatories. We're not blocking or preventing the inflammation process from occurring in the body. The protease enzymes that are in our digestive enzyme formula are actually breaking down the proteins the body's releasing, trying to create the inflammation in your body to stop you working out. It's a way the body has to force you to slow down so it doesn't get damaged, so it can actually recover. And that's by elevating cortisol, which is a hormone. We call it the fat-storing hormone, but it's actually the inflammatory hormone. It's elevated, and then your body releases a whole bunch of chondroitin and fibrin, and those are inflammatory proteins that actually create the inflammation process. And thrombin is another one. You've heard of thrombosis, which is inflammation. It's part of blood clots, things like that. So there's actually 3: chondroitin, thrombin, and fibrin, and those are all inflammation related proteins. And they're only created when cortisol hormone is elevated, which, by the way, your testosterone, cortisol, when it elevates, forces testosterone down, which is another hormone. So you're no longer building muscle tissue when cortisol is elevated. So stop going into the gym, trying to work out with sore muscles, swollen muscles. It's never going to work. You're only damaging and tearing your skin tissue, and you're going to head for a rotator cuff or some other kind of a severe damage or torn muscle or ligament or tendon. You're not building anything. If cortisol is elevated, you're working out with sore muscles. So as hard as it is, if it takes you 4 days to recover, let that muscle tissue relax a little bit, get rid of the soreness, then hit the gym hard again. So like I said, the first thing is, you have to rest and recover, nutrition. How fast do you get nutrition from your meal source to the cellular body so that it can start to recover cellular function to do the repairs? You have to reduce the inflammation. That's going to slow down circulation a lot. It's going to inhibit a lot of the digestive process as well. Take those enzymes. They'll break those proteins right down, and you never do get much inflammation. And that's what allows you to go in the gym, literally. Like I said, when I started this in '84, by 1990, after I got done with Mike Ashley and a lot of people, if you want to go back and look at some old professional volleyball players that were on the AVP tour, Senjin Smith and Karch Karai. Karch Karai lived in Saddleback Apartments for almost the first 3 years I was in there. That's who taught me how to play volleyball. and most everybody else in that complex of about 3,500 people learned how to play volleyball. And St. John Smith, he'd always fly over from LA. That's where he lived. But it's just, half hour, an hour flight from LA to Phoenix. And he'd come over there, and every weekend we'd have these big tournaments between different big apartment complexes and stuff. And, one of the things that they always talked about was make sure to take time off so your body can recover. And so by the time, 1990 came rolling around, about the time I got into enzymes with Valley of the Sun, which is a year prior to me starting my own business, I used to take enzymes and I could literally be in the gym every single day. And so many people go to my website, enrichinggifts.com, and look up Tom Mano. We have a memoriam of him on my website, or Italian Stevens website today. And he is a perfect example of what any athlete can do. Tom Mano, for people that don't know or didn't look him up or never heard of him before, he was my best friend. Tom and I spent over 25 years together in Phoenix. And man, I just, even after Phoenix, I flew him and his wife Diane up here to go through Yellowstone Park. I had him up to my house in Miles City several times. He and his wife were like my best friends. And he was one of the very first people that I got to know when I first moved to Phoenix. And he was a bouncer at a real popular disco bar, or dance bar, I should say. And he was the security guy. He was a huge guy. And, before he passed away at age 53, he holds 2 categories of the Guinness Book World Record in powerlifting. One, he broke a record, or set a record, I should say. He bench pressed, I think it was 738 pounds, something, 700 and some pounds anyway. And he did it over in Finland. And he set the Guinness Book World Record as the heaviest bench press ever lifted by a human being over the age of 40. And at 53, he broke that record. And that was in June. And he was 53 years old. And I think he set that record at 42 or 43 years old. Think about that, 700 plus pounds, even 900 pounds by a human being over the age of 40. So there you go. Nothing more needs to be said. Nobody on this planet can do anything like that guy did. And the first thing that Tom and I did, he's an ex-Dallas Cowboy player. He played for the NFL. There he is, my good buddy. And I'll tell you, all those barbells that you see hanging on each end of that bar, I saw him lift that thing many, many times. And just the whole bar just bends like that gorilla on the monkey shirt. It was just amazing to see what that guy could do with about 1,000 pounds or 800 pounds or even 750 pounds. It would just blow your mind. And but he is still to this day holds the Guinness Book World Record still. And he passed away 11 years ago. He passed away in 2010. And he died of deep throat esophageal cancer. And I could never talk him out of going through the radiation and the chemotherapy. And I'll always know in my heart that that's what killed him. It wasn't the cancer, the therapy, because he had to do something because he couldn't hold down water. And so he decided to go through the chemo. They fed him such a great story about how he had such a high percentage of survival and this and that. And after he passed away, I got to look, and esophageal cancer has less than a 3% survival rate beyond 6 months of diagnosis. 3%. 97% of people will die from it. And the sad thing was, his wife, Diane, way back in 1984, 86, before they had their little boy, Tommy, she was actually diagnosed with one of the deadliest forms of breast cancer there was. They didn't even give her 4 months to live. And she went through one of her chemo treatments, said, if this is what I got to do, I'll just go ahead and die. She just would not do that. And I said, well, just don't do nothing and give up. I said, you've got a little boy you got to be around for and stuff. So Tom and I kind of beat up on her a little bit. She started taking my supplements, and she had a gag reflex, so I can't swallow capsules. And I said, well, you better figure out a way to do it. So we started putting it in a blender, but she liquefied her diet, all organic, tall greens and fresh vegetables. It's all smoothies, no muscle tissue, meat, flesh whatsoever. That'll kill you faster than anything. Try to eat a meat flesh diet when your body is struggling and so broken down. Like I said, protein is the hardest thing for the body to try to process through. You don't have the energy. And you got cancer and disease and illness, try to eat a meat flesh diet. Just don't ever do it. It'll never work. It'll put you in the grave faster than chemo will. And that's my own personal opinion, but it's based on an awful lot of firsthand results that I've worked with people around the world and seen the results of trying to eat from a muscle tissue diet and beat cancer or some other horrific disease. It's not what to do. You want to take away that whole digestive calorie burning, chewing up process and put in good nutritious foods that are very easy to digest. And so most of the calories of the food source are left over to benefit the body, not just push through the digestive process. So those are the few things that I can personally tell you, Michael, about bodybuilding. Your diet's about 80% of whatever your body's going to produce as far as results. You have to really rest to recover. Don't go crazy and spend a lot of time in the gym. It's not about that. It's about getting nutrition to the cells so the body has what it needs to, in order cellular function to start the rehabilitation process. So the digestive enzymes are critically important. Probiotics would help with the digestive process as well. And the enzymes not only digest, but if you take them just before the workout, they'll actually help to prevent a lot of the inflammation process as you're going through your workout. You can usually get an extra 20 minutes to a half hour in of a really heavy workout. So that's what hopefully I explained it without wandering too far sideways. I know I have a bad habit of doing that, but I think all the information, if you go back and listen to this, that you really need, it's in there. And if you can juice your protein, those protein shakes are very beneficial as opposed to eating a chicken breast or a T-bone steak or some kind of a pork chop or some kind of a muscle tissue. Protein is protein once it's all broken down and digested. Your body uses it the same way. So anything you can do to increase the digestive efficiency without having the body to do it, if you can use capsules like our plant enzymes to do it, you'll have great success, and so will anybody else. And I'm just speaking from personal experience, whether it's Jim Rosania, Jim Mayer, Tom Anno, myself, I mean, Injun Joe, I mean, I could go on and on and on. There's probably about 40 of us that were just massively huge. And we used to walk into a bar, everybody just like part like the Red Sea, like John Travolta walking into Studio 54 and Saturday Night Fever. I mean, we would walk in there, we're all so big and stuff that, we had a good time. Let's just leave it at that. So hopefully that answered your question, Michael. Appreciate the question too.
Yeah, I see Michael nodding his head yes a little bit. Yeah, he got his video on. Sharp looking guy. So is there anyone else that has any questions? Feel free to type it in the chat as Michael did, or come off mute. Let us know your question. All right,
No.
any others? No?
All righty. Well, that's all I had for tonight. I mean, I really appreciate the gal that we had a conversation with today. Got me all fired up about probiotics and all the misconceptions that are out there about that. And I just want to straighten that on tonight's call. So it was a great conversation. Give me a topic for tonight.
Yes, indeed. Well, it was
I had
another.
one quick thing to say.
All
Yes.
right.
This is Talia Crenshaw, and I run the Enriching Gifts website. And I just wanted to say, for anybody that's a referral agent, if they're on here tonight, you can now go on the website and you'll be able to see who's used your code and who's linked to you and how much they've purchased. For anybody that's been wondering, I know because a lot of people were asking if there's a way you could see who uses your code, and now you can do that. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Hey, Talia, do you want to kind of explain a little bit exactly how they would do that?
Well,
Walk them through it.
I'm sorry.
Just kind of walk them through the process of how they'd actually be able to do that.
Yeah, let me get in front of my computer. So give me just a second.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good. You don't have to just sit there and listen to me. I mean, get people familiar with the website and all the different options and benefits. And one of the things I was always taught about and really thought about way before I even started this, I used to be a big network marketer. But once I really learned all the different marketing plans and all the different things, it's like, why am I sitting there working my butt off when about 8 people above me benefit from what I'm doing? And I never could understand that concept. Everybody's benefiting off of me doing all the hard work. And that's one of the reasons why I created my own company and decided to private label my enzymes to every other company that was in business. Because I didn't want to give all my hard work and money away to somebody who's out doing absolutely nothing for me. So call it greed or just call it smart thinking or whatever. But if you're out to build a business, you want to keep all the money that you're putting your time and effort into. That's my opinion. And that's why I kind of flip-flopped and started my own enzyme business.
Okay,
So,
I'm back on. I have to clarify something. You cannot go on the actual, there's nowhere to go on the website to look, but if you ever want to know, just contact me and I can direct message you. I can email it to you, or I can just go over it with you over the phone. But as of right now, I don't have it to where you can just click on and look. But if you call me, I'm happy to, like I said, go over it with you over the phone, or I can email everything to you.
right. So you have a way to get them the information they're looking for. It's just not available on the website. They can just
Correct.
call you and you can email the information to them. All right,
Yes.
perfect.
Yeah. So anybody that wants to know,
Well, that's important for a lot of marketing people to know, especially referral agents. They want to know why their commission checks aren't what they think they are. And
right.
it's pretty easy to see because a lot of people just go run around, sign up a whole bunch of people like typical network marketing and never ever talk to them, never work with them, never try to help them build a business or an income or anything else. They really don't even take time to explain the products and the benefits of the products to most people. And that's where everybody falls down. I just today I was telling this gal that asked me about the probiotics and the acid stomach and stuff. I said, one of the things that I'm still committed to this day, and I've been committed to that from the very first day I ever started marketing, even network marketing, way before I even had my own business. And here's something everybody should remember. And I know we've got a lot of caring, giving, wonderful people on this phone call each and every week, not just tonight, and especially within the business of enriching gifts, whether you're a wholesaler, a retailer, or just a consumer. And my whole thing was, and I preach this, that's why I was so successful in network marketing until I decided to do my own thing. But I remember those paychecks, $10,000, $20,000 paychecks. I used to photograph them and show them to everybody. This is real money. But the problem was every time I'd get 1 or 2 of those paychecks, the doggone company got greedy and stupid and went out of business. And I don't care whether I'm trying to Jewelway International with Greg out of Tucson. It was Echoes Perfumes and Colognes out of the UK with Clive Atkins. Whether it was Omnitrition with Dirk Pearson, Sandy Shaw, whether it's Sportron. I can go on and on and on. All those companies, I made big paychecks, but heck, by the time you sit there and spend all that money, you're going to go spend at least 8-10 grand trying to build a big paycheck. And then by the time you finally get one that's like, oh, 20 grand, wow, I got some extra spending money. Well, they're out of business because of stupidity, plain stupidity. And like I said, I just remembered that there was always one thing that I just kept saying and driving everybody. And I still had that conversation to this day with that gal with the probiotics. And the conversation is,
No.
I don't care what it is, but if you help enough people achieve the dreams and goals that they have set out and are willing to work for in their life, you don't have to worry about the money. You look back and man, there's so much money sitting back there from helping all those people create an income, buy a new house, get a secondary income, whatever their dreams is, whatever their goals are. If you're willing to reach out and really bust your butt and help people, you're helping yourself all the way as well. There is no they get more than you. No, you don't even have to look back. The money's there. So I just hope everybody kind of thinks about that a little bit, because you think about getting ahead in life, you can't do anything. You can't even go to have a job without other people coming in and supporting your business. So the more people you can help achieve their dreams and goals, the more fun you're going to have in life and the more prosperous you're going to be. Plain and simple. And I still live by that to this day. He says, can I call you at some other time? I said, I'm committed. I'm committed to every person on this planet getting the best health that they possibly can, given the genetics they have in their body. And my daughter, Telly, and I, we talk about our genetic flaws all the time, or we used to. Boy, we got some hurdles to overcome when it comes to my genetics, heart disease and all that kind of stuff. But I'm totally committed to helping anybody. They can call me any time of the day. And she was shocked. She was blown away by that. So that's what I want to, that's my total belief. You know, you help enough people, you don't have to worry about a job or money or this or that. It just naturally comes. It's universal energy. What comes around goes around. And I really believe that. So Talia, Stephen, do you guys have any last comments for the call tonight? And then I'll have Roderick close it out for us.
No, I think that was the only thing that I wanted to just put in there. And we're just want everybody to know that we're thankful for the support and we're here and willing to help anyone. And if anyone has any questions or needs anything, just always feel free to give me a shout.
Okay, and I appreciate that. And I seen something just came across the screen. I don't know who asked me that about visiting the guy. You know, we just got back from Vegas. I went over there to have teeth implants, and my implants got canceled. I got to work on my blood glucose or my A1C levels before they'll do the surgery. But no, I totally didn't even think about the guy that buys supplements. In fact, I'm not even sure I even still have their phone number or contact information. So whoever just flashed that up there, if you want to send that to me, I'm going to probably be back over there again sometime early June. And if I can't get it done by then I got to wait until sometime in September, because I've got a lot of stuff going on during the summertime. I'm not going to have time for teeth implants then. But no, I didn't get a chance to talk to anybody about outdated supplements. So
And
Robert?
yes, that last
Yep.
question was from Michael. And
Okay.
so thank you. And I just wanted to thank you, Michael, again for your questions and comments, and also to you, Stephen and Talia. That definitely adds a definite benefit to the call. And of course, another great informative call. Thank you very much, Ron. We really appreciate you. We really feel you caring. And I just look forward to the next call. So
Good.
I wanted to wish everybody, I hope you guys all had a good, happy Easter weekend. And I just wanted to wish you a very good evening, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great night, everybody.
This call's a wrap.